Thanks, Ashwini. So while though this is a little late, Happy New Year to all of you. And I hope this year has been going great so far. And once again, welcome to today's session and this brand new series on people and talent and people development. For people who are new to Sattva's knowledge series, I just wanted to take a minute to briefly talk about this initiative. So this is an initiative within Sattva called India Partner Network, through which we are focusing on curating and disseminating relevant knowledge across different topics of organization building and use such platforms to kind of bring it to the nonprofits. As part of this, we have been doing sessions on different topics from fundraising, donor evidence, compliance, communication, and so on. And we'll kind of continue doing this across the year. And we would really like to hear from all of you in terms of what you would really like us to speak about, your feedback and input, so that we can make these sessions and the knowledge that we are curating more meaningful for all of you. Request all of you to write to partnernetwork.co.in for any inputs, feedback. Ashwini, if you can just share the mail ID on the chat. That would be great. And soon you will also start seeing us in a different form. Going ahead in the next 2 to 3 months, we'll be launching a digital platform through which we want to bring in knowledge, resources, and to you. So we'll keep you updated on the same, and we are super excited about it. So coming back to the series on talent and people development, we have been designing these sessions in partnership with Careers and Impact, which is the recruitment arm of Sattva. CII has been working with partners, supporting them in hiring, especially in the mid to senior management level. So we work with NGOs to support them in recruitment in the mid to senior management level. So for today's session, which is on how to attract the right talent for your organization, we have with us Anushri. Anushri, welcome to the session, and really happy to have you here today. I believe this is a very, very important topic for all of us, and to hear from Anushri would be really great. So to briefly introduce Anushri to the team here, so Anushri, if you can just go to the next slide. Yeah. So a brief profile of Anushri. She is the Associate Director HR at Educate Girls. She joined Educate Girls 3 years ago, and this is her first stint in the social sector. But she overall has 15 plus years of experience in the human resource sector and people development, and has been working on areas from people strategy to operations to culture and building strong processes and systems within the organization. She also holds a master's degree in HR and behavioral science from NMIMS and a bachelor's degree in management studies from Mumbai University. I'm sure all of us know about Educate Girls, but to briefly kind of also touch upon that, Educate Girls is a nonprofit that focuses on mobilizing communities in India and is present across, especially in the rural and educationally backward districts and locations. So once again, Anushri, welcome to the session. Just to also kind of let you know the format of the session, this will be around, we'll have Anushri delivering the session for around 45 minutes to 1 hour. Then we will open up the floor for FAQ for the last 30 minutes. But in between, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them on the chat. We'll take it up together towards the end of the session. So yeah, thank you so much. Hope you have a productive session. And here I'm handing it over to Anushri.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Meenu, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Hope you had a good lunch. And here we are on this new series with Sattva on in the talent development in the social sector. So just about me, while Meenu has already introduced me, I have around, so 18 years ago, I started in the industry with, as a recruiter. and HR just happened to me, and I think recruitment was the the first initial point of entering into the HR function. And from then on, like, it's been like, obviously a rat race with different types of handling different types of recruitment, be it bulk recruitment, global recruitment, hiring for leadership and things on. I've always shied away from recruitment. I've tried to, if I have another opportunity into some other vertical of HR, I'll try to move away. But, because it's such a stressful job, recruitment. Going back and forth, you come back to recruitment. Probably it is the reason being, I think we all understand, hiring the right people and developing the right, people is the most important factor. We may have great strategies, but if we don't have the right people on board, then it does impact, majorly. Everything can go just haywire. So here we are just, talking about the social sector recruiting and what does, what are the trends that are there in the social sector. So what I'll be touching upon are majorly some of the trends, some of the sources, the challenges that we all face. I'm just gathering all those together. And then I would like to share, some few examples of how Educate Girls has, moved forward or scaled up through its, recruitment, and what are the best practices that we kind of incorporate, which could be, helpful to each one of you. So great. So just talking about the trends in recruitment, I think when I talk about recruitment, it's a complete different ball game in the social sector, and I'm sure most of you are more experienced than me. I've just joined the sector 3 years back, and I think the main important, the factor that impacts recruitment here is the purpose or the reason why a person wants to join into the sector, because obviously it's not for profit, and everyone looks for, great growth opportunity, great opportunity on the career, not only just the career front, but the salary front as well. And seeking that somewhere in the non-profit is, a question, or, people would question that, like, how does it impact them. So looking, the most critical requirement in the recruitment process is not merely just competencies. We just don't hire the right competencies or skills, because that itself is, quite sparse. Then there are different factors that are affecting that. So what are those factors that affect the recruitment in the social sector? These are some points that have been gathered through different reports and research done in the sector. What it is usually seen that experience is preferred over qualification. Anyways, we have very limited, pool of resources to choose from. So most of the organizations would prefer somebody with experience, and experience, I'll say quality of experience rather than the years of experience, and over their qualification. So not necessarily look out for, a certain kind of qualification, an MBA and so and so, or, something else, but the right experience is most important. Diversity and inclusion, equity, inclusion in recruitment. Most of the social sectors are focused on, they are working towards the gender diversity, or, various other inclusive patterns. So it happens that it is important to have that in the recruitment process as well. So many organizations focus on this aspect in their recruitment process itself. Suitability for the position and role in terms of core skills and competencies. Is the person right for the role? Is, how do we get in the right skill sets or competencies for the role is because we have very different positions probably that are not readily available in the general sector. So how do we position, or how do we put into a place where we can relate it to the general sector and get into that positions. The other part, definitely the most important part, is your culture fitment and your purpose alignment. I think that's the most important part, as I told in the start as well. When we hire, we need to hire for culture fitment. That's what organizations look for. Is the person focused, or is the person has the connect to the cause for the organization, and whether the person does fit into the system of it. The other part is brand value, how brand value plays a role in hiring or attracting talent. How do we place ourselves or position ourselves as an organization? And the last aspect, definitely the expectation alignment on compensation. I think compensation is a huge factor, and that definitely derives on how we hire, whether we hire what are the trade-offs that we do in the sector. We've also done, I think many organizations are now done into compensation benchmarking, and there is a set system or a set benchmarks in the system for various roles, various positions, various sectors or areas of focus in the social sector itself. And these are readily available. Recently, when ISDM released a report on compensation benchmarking, which organizations can definitely use for. But in a scenario where you're probably a startup, or your budgets are not that high, it does impact how do you see this compensation, and what are the areas that we need to focus on. Coming to the sources of recruitment, whenever we look at the sources of recruitment, I'm sure all these sources are somewhere tabbed, but I've just kind of put it over here to just look at the sources of recruitment, because the wider you spread your net, you'll be able to tap and pull in the right people on the role, like that one. So what are your sources of recruitment tapping for? Are you getting the relevant candidates from these sources? If time is a factor, then what are the sources that are the most where you would get resources most faster? What are the cost effective sources of recruitment, and where do you get those quality of hires, like that way? So for Educate Girls, and I think with people, speaking to people in the different people in the sector, I think employee referrals has been the major source of hiring. I think the word of mouth is the way we hire. Recently we had so we were speaking to some NGOs working in Bihar who are local NGOs, and we were just checking with them how do they hire, how do they get people on board to work in the NGO sector. So it's mainly word of mouth that prevails, and major hiring happens through employee referrals. The other thing we have, obviously employee referrals is also a cost effective source of hire. You need to involve everyone from your organization, make them a partner to hiring, and that how it kind of moves ahead. There are different job boards available, obviously Naukri.com, there's DevNet, there's Indeed. Some of these have free job posting. LinkedIn has a couple of free job postings. This could be a mix of in terms of cost, because that definitely involves a cost in making a job post or taking a license. Recommend to take a license only if you have a lot of recruitments, different kind of recruitments, Otherwise, a job posting should help. A single job post could, attract a lot of employees, a lot of candidates. Website, having a strong website, communicating your cause on the website, and having all your job posts on the website, that definitely helps. We have consultants on board. Definitely this is, not that cost effective, but in the start probably it does help you. There are consultants who have a great pool of talent already readily available with them, and using the consultants would definitely help on that front. Consultants also help you to, if you do not have a strong HR team on board, then definitely consultants is an option, because they would help you to shortlist candidates, speak to them, communicate your purpose and things. But you need to do it in the right way. You need to ensure your consultants are also, sold, the purpose is sold to them as well, and they understand the what your organization works for. Other source of recruitment is the college campus or interns, probably. I think many, at least in the start of when you're a startup or you're kind of scaling up, the college campus recruitment definitely helps. You get a lot of people, while we feel like, campus recruitment, it's just not that you need to tap, top colleges or so, but there are n number of colleges in India in the rural sector. How do we can tap those colleges and not tap it only during recruitment phase? Probably create an engagement plan with them. I think these college would help you definitely hire in the rural areas. They would definitely help on that front. Offer internships. Many colleges are okay, like, without any stipend. Give that opportunity to students. They would help you, get more people, and so on. Then we have the social media platforms. Definitely, social media is a most important tool in this, day. But it is very important that how you use it effectively. Just putting your details on LinkedIn or Twitter wouldn't help. It's very, very important that you have the network in your system. You have that kind of network, or your target audience is readily available with you. So say for LinkedIn, if you have just a connect with few people in the sector, then it just your job ad or your offer just kind of reaches out to a minimum of people. So see that how do you engage with a larger audience on social media. Even probably Facebook nowadays is a good platform to engage with the younger generation. So that's how you would, I mean, social media is a very, very strong platform, I think, but using it very, very effectively is most important over there. Others, we have the job fairs, employment exchanges. Most of the state have employment exchange fairs where you can get in touch with the government. They kind of arrange the fairs for you. And mainly in the rural, these things work, job fairs work. And even for the employment exchange, like job fairs, you can tap for the rural kind of, sourcing, rural kind of candidates in the rural sector as such. Next are your boomerang employees who are probably, so boomerang employees are mainly your ex-employees, people who have worked for you, know the culture, have been into the system, and they would want to come back. They must have moved due to various reasons, but they could definitely come back and add more greater value because they understand the system, they understand your culture, they understand the leadership over there. So be open to take ex-employees. That's there. others are institutions, other academic institutions, while these are apart from your colleges, like, specific, say, for example, hiring an IT person for us is very difficult in the geographies that we work, getting that specific IT talent. So we recently approached like a Jet King or, various IT institutions, various vocational courses that are done. How can you tap those institutions? People in the healthcare sector, probably you have a lot of institutions that are training skill set. How can you get these people as interns or, even freshers as well, and give them those opportunities to work for? Then we have general advertisements that are released in notice in the newspaper and things like that. We have, I think, another biggest source of recruitment, especially when you are in the startup or when you are trying to grow, is your networking, and specifically in this sector, because that's what really helps you. Any kind of networking where you know what talent you need to hire, or probably even tap future talent for your organization. I think networking in the sector is most important, be it, such kind of webinars, or, there are different other avenues for networking in the social sector. There is, I'm sure you all have heard of ILSs, the Indian Leaders for Social Sector. They tap a lot of people from the profit sector, and that's how you can, get connects from there as well. There are various other avenues for networking, and those can really help you out in, for building talent, maybe as for your current requirement as well as for your future requirement. The other sources of recruitment could be tapping freelancers. There are various freelancers available who are working from home. I think this way of model, I think since post-COVID, everyone is now moved into a hybrid mode, or, are comfortable with remote working. And hence we can utilize many of these talents that are available as freelancers, or who are available for short-time project work and things like that. So those are as well can be. So moving ahead, while looking at the trends, what are the factors, it's also important to know who are your audiences, and then you tap the relevant sources of recruitment. So what are the sources? What are the audience? Who are the audience that you would kind of tap into? I think that's the most important thing to understand, and then see what are those motivators and where then these people are available for you. So I've just kind of put down some of the audience based on my understanding that where these audiences, or what kind of talent do we hire. So we have seasoned professionals in the sector. There are people who have completed 20-25 years and plus in the M&E space, in the fundraising space. They are well versed in the sector. They understand in and out of it. What would their motivators? What would be motivating them to move from their current role? It's mainly the growth opportunities that an organization can offer. So while somebody is tenured and working in the organization, in the sector from long, they would be well okay to move to a smaller organization in a larger role. So how do you tap those kind of seasoned professionals, or is that the talent you're looking out for? The second part of it would be the seasoned professional outside the sector. Some skill sets are not available in the sector, and we have to tap it from outside. Like, for example, we are recently, getting into a technology space, moving into digitization, and finding that kind of talent in the sector is really difficult. So, why would people join the social sector? They are well established in their role. They would want to, most of the people want to give back to the society as a second innings. They have, kind of earned a lot, or, have enough of savings with them, and would kind of want to look at how now they can utilize their skills in giving back to the society. So you'll find such professionals, and you need to see how can you tap them. Your next audience could be your local, hyper local. These are for organizations that are working mainly in the rural sector. What are the, so this is talent in the rural, semi-urban areas. What really motivates them, probably, it's one is the basic need for anyone from a local sector would, from a local space for them. I think basic needs of, as per the Maslow's hierarchy, I think that would definitely be the most important. Salary would be the most important. The benefits that the organization offers is the most important. It's an opportunity to, work closely from home. So how do you tap on these motivators? This is what you would kind of look into. Then the other audience are your talent, or the candidates that you need to hire for your support functions. This could be staff for your functions like HR, finance, IT. What are the factors here? And people here kind of they are agnostic about the purpose, or the cause to connect. And if they are from the profit sector, they would look for more of growth opportunities and a salary hike. This would be a motivator for them to move into the social sector. And then there could be, you'd be tapping freshers. Fresh talent, I think, is easily available from campus, organizations, from your social media. I think for them, a more motivating, while their basic needs are already met, if they are from the urban sector, making a difference is kind of that, motivates them. So mainly here, we need to understand, and plus there could be other, your audience could be somebody else as well, like, probably women who are on break, or who are looking to work from home, as I said. So, understand who are the audience, what are the motivators, and how will you then tap those candidates through the various sources of recruitment. So that's, I think, how we can move about for. I think the most challenging thing in recruitment are the trade-offs in hiring. Do we see a culture fit? Should we hire for competency? Should we manage our budget, or should we give, the required salary that is there? How can we hire faster? There are various, aspects, mainly these 4 aspects that kind of, impact the hiring process. And how do we see, so what are the trade-offs? Like, I think here we all agree that what we want is the right culture fit, because anyone with it's, so most NGOs also recently, when they did a research, most NGOs said that they would wait for the right candidate than hire the wrong one on board. So I think having the culture fit is the most important. It is important in the profit sector as well, but in the social sector, I think it becomes much more important when somebody needs to connect with the cause, and that's what really helps, to move ahead and help with your strategy. So these are the trade-offs that you will have to manage, and it's important that how you see, what's most important to you while you have the right culture fit. Can you, are you okay to give somebody a higher salary and get in the right competency? Does that help you? So it depends on what stage are you at, what does your organization goals are, what are the strategic goals in the future, and that's how you will have to, manage on that purpose. So just moving ahead, like to share a few pieces that we've kind of worked out in Educate Girls, what has helped us really, manage or attract talent and help us grow. These are some unconventional pieces, apart, like obviously we do have, an HR team in place. We have a recruitment team in place who does the usual source of hiring and everything, but we kind of just analyzed how has, while we have uh, moved ahead, how, what has really helped us. So I'm sure you all are aware about Educate Girls. We just celebrated our 15th anniversary, and in these last 15 years, obviously there has been a lot of struggle, and we're still learning, and we're still a learning organization, I'll say. And it's not that we don't face any issues in recruitment. It's pretty much the same. The challenges remain the same, but there are few things that has worked for us. So just giving you a more brief about Educate Girls, we work for the enrollment retention of the girl child. We also work for some literacy learning efficiencies in the children in the rural parts of India. We work in the most rural villages of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and recently we've ventured into Bihar as well. In Bihar, we are going through an inorganic way where we've hired or we are onboarded other NGOs as partners to deliver our program. So right now we are mainly focused on these 4 states, and our head office is in Mumbai. Definitely when you're, so we have 2 different cultures to manage. The head office culture is completely different vis-a-vis your, culture in the states, which is quite different. And that impacts your hiring as well. Currently, we have 2,700 plus employees on board. So we've scaled up rapidly in the last 4 to 5 years, where we've hired like approx 500 plus employees every year. Plus, we have 18,000 plus volunteers on board. These are people from the villages that we work on. So this is the demographic of Educate Girls, and the I'm just sharing here what has really helped us grow or scale up, and probably that could be some food for thought for you all as well. So what is the mantra to attract and retain talent? I think one thing that we've always worked on is always lead everything with your purpose. I think the connect to the cause, mission led people are the most important thing. How do we connect everything with our purpose, be it attracting talent, retaining talent, or developing people, everything. So here are a few points. How do you amplify your purpose? I think we've all agree, why does it matter? Why your purpose matters. You need to be very, very confident on why your purpose matters. What does it have to offer? What is the outcome that it kind of, brings about, or what is the change that it kind of brings about? What are the, probably the SDG the goals that are, kind of meeting? So how do you amplify your purpose? You amplify the most mission aligned stakeholders. When I say stakeholders, these are people, your staff, your board, you know, your donors, your volunteers, all these people would kind of help you reach the larger audience and attract talent. I think over the years, I think the best talent has come from employee referrals. As I said in the start as well, employee referrals or word of mouth is the best source of hiring people. But you have to ensure that how are you amplifying the purpose to these people and utilize all the stakeholders. Your board, your donors, your employees are there. We've also ensured internally that it's not, hiring is not HR's role, right? Hiring is everyone's job. The hiring manager is the person who is responsible and accountable for getting the right person on the board, and it is not just HR's responsibility. And we've had various examples in like even our CEO or major project heads, everyone has come through an employee referral and who are still on board with us. Then looking at the role profile versus job descriptions, I think it's very important that we call out a right job description when we share it with the organizations. I'll say it's more of a role profile that you share rather than a job description. Ensure that ask, does it reflect your purpose? Is it giving a complete detailed overview of what you do, or how does it impact further? Does it reflect the outcome that the role will bring? Most important thing, language does matter. Do not use corporate lingo or jargons. You will kind of work into it, but write what the role kind of brings about as such. So I'm just sharing here a few the difference between the job profile and a job description that we say. I think your job description, your role profile mainly enumerates what are the needs to perform the role, allows the candidates to determine if the employer are matched to their needs. So, if you're explaining like first while you explain about your organization, you explain why your purpose is important and how does it bring about the change that is required, and why is this role important to meet that purpose. So that needs to be clearly called, and I think that really helps the candidate or attract the talent, like how that role is important in bringing that change that has been mentioned. So that's the way how you can convey the attractiveness to the job role by presenting the organization. We usually in terms of job description, what we do is present the duties and responsibilities associated with the role. We really don't reflect the outcome that the job is bringing about, whatever job it is, even if it's like a support function job from finance, or an impact role or a program operations lead. What is the outcome, or what is the impact that the job is bringing about, rather than writing the duties, responsibilities, like sending monthly reports and attending such and such meetings. These would not really be attractive. So probably look at how can we change the when we put out a job ahead, can we restructure or rewrite our job descriptions to attract the right talent. Okay, the next point was open the organization to volunteers and bringing a constant stream of fresh talent. For all you know, Safina, who is our founder of Educate Girls, she herself had started, by volunteering in an organization, and that's how her career and journey started. So create that room for volunteers to support and contribute to the cause. We have many examples in the system who have joined as volunteers. So for at Educate Girls, you may have a question that how we've been able to attract or hire 18,000 volunteers, and these are volunteers. These are not paid as such. Again, how are we amplifying the purpose to them by making them part of the cause? We have a specific my village, my problem, I am the solution. So it's in Hindi basically, but that's what people connect with, and that's what makes them come on board with us. And this is how we have kind of gotten onboarded 18,000 plus volunteers who are right now active with us. While we do not pay them, we keep them motivated through various skill development and different kind of avenues to grow. And there are many case stories where people have really, all these skill development and has helped them, has made them confident. We do a lot of trainings as well for them. So this all has helped them build in that confidence in them, and then they can kind of move forward in their career as such. We have a lot of examples here where people have joined us as volunteers and then have grown into the system. So even today, like we've I think 40% of our field coordinators, which are our boots on ground, are hired through our volunteers. So I think these volunteers become a biggest source of recruitment here. And then you give them enough of opportunities, they have they have a growth path ahead. We have people who are now who joined us as volunteers and are leading our districts, are heading our districts, are heading impact functions. Various such examples are there in the system. This is a very important point. If you find good talent, just grab them. I think this has really helped us. So I've written here, don't be a slave to your HR process. We usually get, boxed ourselves into okay, this is the qualification that we require, or this is the experience that is required for the, job role that we are looking at. But probably move ahead and, think beyond those criterias. Keep an open eye, as I told, while we're networking, look out for future talent, how you can build that talent pool. So there are various examples in Educate Girls as well that, we've hired people. So we've come across people through different platforms. Probably they were leaving from a different organization, or their contracts were getting expired, or probably they just reached out to us, and we didn't have a specific role for them, but they were a culture fit for sure, and they got in that the right attitude. So we've just kind of onboarded them, and as I've written here, they will create the right role, and the right role will find them. So I have examples somebody who's through networking, we just hired him, and then he went on to become the head of strategic partnerships or the head of government relations. Currently we are running a second chance program, Pragati, which we have recently launched, and someone who's heading that program was someone whom we just hired without a specific role, but we knew she would be able to grow in the system. And then we carved that role. Once she was onboarded, then that role was carved for her, and today she heads this new project for us. So this is a very important, I think this can help. It's most cost effective, and I think it would help a lot of organizations to work on those slides. So while we're talking about attracting talent, I understand it's also important to grow the talent within, because every time it's difficult to hire. How do we, if we're saying the talent pool is less, or we're not finding the right talent in the sector, then how we build that talent within the system, right? So most important thing is how you grow your own timber. Ensure that you're giving continuous job rotation, job enrichment. Ensure that everyone knows all the job. There's constant cross-functional training. And I'll tell you, like you are aware, probably we are an audacious project. We did our development investment bond as well a few years back, and we've not hired from outside to manage these projects. We've all the talent that is there is internal, and I think that has really helped. Like when Sapina started her work as well, she's pulled in people. I think she has that eye for talent, and she's pulled in those people. And as an organization, we keep punting on people. We keep giving them assignments, and see how, like throwing them under the bus and see how do they perform. And then that's how we keep giving them that growth opportunities. So frankly, I think in these spaces where it's really difficult to hire good talent, especially in the rural areas or in semi-urban areas, I think the best way is to how you can grow the talent within the organization. And these are few things. I'm sure there'll be much more things that can be done to grow the talent within. And yeah, the last point, like hire leaders who are talent builders. While we look for talent, I think even if you hire one great leadership resource, they will build that talent for you. Even if that means spending a little more money on the hire as well, because having the right leadership in place is very, very important. So you need to hire leaders who are talent builders. For example, we've had like the current head of operations. He has been into the system, I think, from more than 10 years, and he's built that system of people, or he's built that talent bench for the organization, who is a culture fit, right? This leader is a culture fit, and the people that he has developed definitely become a culture fit for the organization, and they have grown into various spaces. Like one example that also fits, grabbing the talent and then they're building talent for us, was a lady who's a gender expert. Once she came on board, like she's kind of built her team, which includes like 50% of women, where the rest of the people are kind of struggling with ensuring gender, hiring ratio or gender diversity. She's been able to build those kind of women leaders. So look out for those talent. And I think paying a little more for this would definitely not be an issue as such. So great. These are the few points that I just shared from Educate Girls perspective, how we've kind of, what are those unconventional ways that have helped us grow into the system. Few parting thoughts over here. Be confident about what you have to offer, always on the employee branding or the purpose that we say. I think that mode needs to always be on. Broaden your idea of an ideal candidate. Just don't box yourself to certain specifications or so. Maintain a talent pipeline. I think, yeah. So we also have created a talent pool where even if we don't have a certain opportunity or profile, we've attract a talent pool where people can reach out to us or share their profiles, and we have it in our database all along. So then whenever we require certain talent, we can go and pull it from there. So how do you build that talent pipeline wherein you can keep attracting people and keep getting their profiles on it? Cast your net wider. As I said, there are multiple challenges in the hiring in the social sector, but the wider you cast your net, you will have more talent that can be attracted, and higher for attitude and culture fit. That's we've always been talking about. So that's it. So my in a very there's less of interaction, but hopefully we can check on the questions that you may have, and happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Anushri. I think great session, and everybody could also take some insights from some of the case studies and examples that you mentioned, and some of the experiences from Educate Girls as such. So thank you so much for the session. I request if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and kind of ask the question, or please feel free to put it out on the chat and we'll kind of take it up. So there's one question that's come in, Anushri, from Amrita. She's asking if we hire positions around 120 to 150 in year. So I believe hiring 120 to 150 positions in a year, is it worth taking job portals like Naukri, seeing the cost?
Right. So Amrita, it depends on the nature of the job role that you are hiring. Because see, I'll just give you a brief. Naukri for a single license would cost you approx 1.2 lakhs or so. So does it impact cost per hire? And it depends on the position. Are those people going to be available on Naukri.com? Then it makes sense to kind of invest in that. Right. So while we have seen, we've recently taken Naukri just to give out of experience, and people from the sector are few. To be honest, there are few profiles from the sector that are available, but not many. If you need to hire, like say the others, rest of the function, the support functions or roles that are from the profit side, then Naukri would help. But if you're looking something for social sector specific, then probably DevNet is a better portal to go.
Anshri, there was also, I think, a question earlier on, what are the best job portals for hiring of social sector? So I think it relates to this question.
Yeah. I think right now there is DevNet. I'm not sure if there's any other portals that are available. There are few consultants that have their own portals, so that could help. But in the sector, DevNet specifically helps. Also in the rural, space.
And are there any pro bono job portals for social sector? So that's also one of the questions.
Okay. I haven't tapped. We haven't tapped any pro bono portals as such. I think we've been using DevNet and Naukri Indeed is one which has a good penetration in the rural sector as well. So indeed.com is one of the space that you can look out for like that one.
Thanks, Anshri. Moving on to the next question. So Mamta has a question on grabbing a good talent and a role will follow. So, so her question is, till the time role comes by, how do we remunerate the talent?
How do you remunerate the talent, you're saying? Hello?
Yes, Anushri, can you hear me?
Yeah, Meenu. So the question was on how do we remunerate the talent, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I understand that's like, important question over there, like how do we manage for the budgets since we've not kind of, taken it on board. But I think you'll have to invest in some amount of, in these kind of roles where you are able to bring in that talent, and then you can, manage it for like, some positions that have not been hired for. So these are usually talent that are like generalist, or, since they have the right attitude, they can kind of fit in and do things, at many other positions as well. So you will have to kind of invest in them, in getting on this talent on board, and see that, okay, in the near future, you have certain roles that they would kind of fit into. Maybe not now, not directly, but you are planning, or, there is a certain strategy that you have in place to hire them as such that way.
Thank you. Thanks, Anushri. I hope that answers your question, Mamta. So if anybody has a follow-up question, please feel free to unmute and kind of speak up. There's a question on any recruitment firms specifically for social sector.
Okay, recruitment firms, I think there are many recruitment firms. Satwa is one of them. They have their recruitment arm as well. There's third sector partners, there is Transearch, there are development partners. So, I mean, if you want more details, you can, kind of reach out to me and we can share you a list of, the recruitment partners that are available in the sector. And these kind of range from, hiring bulk hiring to hiring, senior profiles as well. So they would be in different ranges as such.
Right. And again, I think we are also happy to put together a list of some of these platforms as well as recruitment firms and share it with the participants here. Yeah, so we can work on that with Anushri and share it with you.
Yeah.
So Sandeep has a question on what skills do you look for while hiring for social sector?
Okay. So Sandeep, see, as I said, the culture fit, and then we have like, certain questions that we have in place to ensure that the person is culture fit. And if is on a general note, or, where I was saying you grab a talent or so, you're looking for, what is the experience of the person, and I think like things like strategic thinking or leadership, these are the skills that are most important when you hire for the social sector, because these people will kind of manage into anything that you will, kind of give. So probably these are the skill sets that you can look out for.
Great. So I think Raina has also spoken about Indeed and about using that for job posting. There's a question on fellowship that says there are many fellowship focusing on social sector and they place fellows in NGOs and social enterprises. Should it be the right way to host the fellows for 1 or 2 years and then offer them placements?
Yes. So yeah, probably I missed this in the, we also do hire a lot of fellows, and fellows come with a very good skill set, and they will come cheaper for you as well. While they are on a fellowship, at least you will get them into a salary that kind of fits into your budget. And since they're also fellows, they're learning and they have a net skill set, they can get into that talent for you. So hiring for fellows, yes, definitely recommended. If you have that budget, do hire 1 or 2 fellows that can then be also absorbed into the organization later on, because that's also a possibility to make them fit into your culture, your values, things like that. Hello. Okay. I think there's another question. What percentage of salaries do consultant firms usually charge? So, Namta, I think it depends. I mean, you can negotiate a certain percentage, but for bulk hiring also, it can be probably a fixed cost, or it ranges somewhere between 8% to 16, 2 months salary, 2 months fixed salary as such. So that's the range of the consultant. Like for a senior level hiring, it would probably be between a 16 to 20%. Mid layer would be between 10 to 12% or so. And if for the bulk hiring, it could be much lesser.
Sorry, I lost the connectivity in between, Anushri, so I'm not sure.
Sorry, I took a question.
No, great. Thank you for that. And I think there was also a question on how do you magnify your purpose when putting together the JD, or so there was a question, I believe, from Sanjay, from Dhwani in between. Sanjay, if you want to speak up, I think that might be useful. Anushri, I believe the question was around how do you magnify or how do you highlight the purpose of the organization generally?
Right. Yeah, so there are multiple ways. Like it could be the social media, it could be your founder speaking, your people who are speaking. I think stories help a lot. How does your purpose impact or bring about a change? I think those impact or those change stories help a lot. That's how you can help on that front. That's how you can amplify your purpose, I think.
Thanks, Anushri. Mamta, I can see a question from you on volunteers, but I believe you also had a question earlier around culture fit. I'm sorry, I can't see the earlier chats. So if you want to just unmute yourself and ask the 2 questions, that would be useful.
Okay, I think, okay, sorry. I think Nisha was asking a list of organization that provide fellows. We could, share that about. There are some.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we could share that with the group over here later.
Thanks, Minu. Anushri, Mamta here.
Yeah.
On the culture fit, right? First of all, the early socials, pre-early, I'm in that stage and I'm hardly knowing what a culture is, except for some few, this is what I'm going to do, right? This is what I want to do. That becomes a culture over a period of time is my understanding.
Yeah.
So how does one, how does it look like for educate girls? Exactly, the culture fit. It's easier said than doing is what I understood. Dan, so I would like you to hear you out in detail.
Sure.
Especially how does it look like for educate girls?
Right, sure. And Mamta, I think Satwa would also be having a session on the culture aspects separately as well. For educate girls, I'll say, like, see, for if anyone, what is the culture? It's the policies, the practices, or the behaviors that you have in the organization. So I think Educate Girls kind of worked on its values. We have certain, we have 5 core values that we kind of, propagate or ensure that it is there in every aspect of, what we do. So one is the mission connect, definitely, and then is the value. So there's like gender equality, there's collaboration, excellence, integrity. So in anything that we do, we ensure that these aspects are integrated or imbibed into it, like, So during our trainings or anything, we definitely touch upon the core values. So it is not just like, we've kind of chalked the values and then just leave it on a board, or, we've just placed it somewhere. But the values are spoken like each and every day in every kind of training that we do, or any other aspects, the values, or even say how we conduct a meeting, that also kind of reflects the values, or brings out the culture into the team. It's like for us, we would emphasize on, if you had to make an opinion, then you say I feel, or in my experience, like, these are small things, but it does make an impact when you kind of build that ecosystem. Then, and I think the main custodians of culture or anything is your leadership. How do you lead by example? People look to you and then they kind of follow. So even when we go into the, to meet our teams in the different districts or villages, we ensure that culture is, there's no differential treatment to somebody coming from a head office versus, somebody working on the field. Everyone is at par. Everyone has has that comfort to talk openly, or share things. So it's all these factors kind of build in your culture. How are you communicating in the system, or how are you ensuring collaboration? So these are small pieces that actually build your culture. Mamta, I hope you have been able to address few points that you're looking out.
Yes, totally, Anushri. I understood that instead of saying like when you opine, it is like I feel. That's a very great thing to simple but quite profound. Thank you.
Thanks, Mamta.
Great. And I think the point that Anushri mentioned, we're also planning to do a session on culture. It would be great if you could let us know, maybe on the chat, right? If there are specific sessions that you would, or specific topics that you would like to understand better on talent and people, so that we can also plan our sessions accordingly. So please feel free to share your thoughts on the chat. I see Harish, you have raised your hand. So maybe Harish, you can go next, and then I'll go back to the chat questions. Yeah, Harish.
Yeah, thank you, Minu. Thank you for organizing this session. And thank you, Anushri, for this wonderful ideas and presentation that you gave us. It opened up a lot of points to think about. We are an organization based in Chennai. We are called the Nalandavi Foundation. We work in the education space. So we are facing challenges in recruiting talent for partnerships and fundraising. You had briefly spoken about how you got a good talent from LinkedIn. Those who have got, they have had good salary, they have earned enough in their private job, and now they would like to contribute to the social sector, right? So can you help us give us some ideas on how to get talent for the fundraising?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Harish, frankly speaking, we also keep struggling with the fundraising, positions that are there. So the challenges remain constant, but I think, have you tried to look at freshers as well?
We didn't look for freshers. Once we tried it on LinkedIn, So this person was working in an IT firm, and then he came with us, but he couldn't work in our space, so he had to leave.
Okay.
And also we had an in-house person who wanted to work on partnerships. So
Mhm.
she tried that role for some time. So that's how we are managing.
Right, right. Yeah. So for the leadership, I think, yeah, so probably you could also check for fellows that, like, we were talking about, or if you're hiring from LinkedIn, I think you could also tap in a lot of freshers or uh, like people who are experienced and now have got into, like, academics like ISDM or public policy people, colleges or so they have some kind of prior experience and then are kind of got into this college. It really depends on your budget, basically, whether you'll be able to kind of afford them. Otherwise, we've also been able to hire some freshers who have kind of pulled themselves up, but that would help if there is some senior person to guide them, and then you can have a pool of freshers on board.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Anushree, if I understand right, the freshers would largely help on the ops and implementation. Is that the way you see it? And while the leadership kind of gives direction and strategy?
Yeah, right. And yeah, also from the college campuses, like they would kind of be a good pool over there for fundraising specifically.
Sure, great. And I think Nisha has also mentioned that for them, freshers from good colleges have worked really well for fundraising.
Okay.
Great. Vinu had two questions. One was on if there is any document that acts as a guide for recruitment process, and one around any sort of guiding document on interviews, questions for interviews, candidate evaluation, and so on. So we know on the recruitment, we do also have an SOP template, which we could definitely share with you. And Anushree, if there is anything that you all have and you feel
Yeah,
can be
sure.
shared
We
with
can
other participants.
definitely share that with you. I think this is the best thing about the social sector, that we can share all the resources openly. There's nothing as competition or so. So that, and I think that definitely helps in the sector.
Great.
So happy to share all the documents that are.
Thank you so much, Anushree. So we'll coordinate with Anushree and make sure that we share those documents with you all. Yeah, so there's also a question on what is the best practice mentioning the remuneration range in the job advertisements or not mentioning it?
Right. Okay, I missed the name that it came from. Pukar, I think, yeah. So yeah, that's little difficult to gauge whether remuneration helps or not, because sometimes the remuneration may curtail certain candidates from applying to the job. But if you do not mention, then you will get a bulk of resumes you will get from various ranges. And then if you have a team on board that can shortlist the candidates and kind of screen these candidates, then it's fine. Then you can keep the window open and not mention the salary range. But if you are short on bandwidth from that perspective, then it's better to give the salary range as such.
So Amrita also wants to know if we use the MBTI personality test for few positions in the social sector.
Okay, so Amrita, we've not used that for hiring, at least. We've done it for development purpose or so. But for leadership hiring, we definitely sometimes do psychometric testing, not exactly MBTI. So we from this organization called Mercury Urval, from there is what we do the psychometric testing. This is only for the leadership positions, but.
Great. So I think we're at the end of the questions on the chat. any additional questions from the participants? Any thoughts that you all want to share? So I also please feel free in case people on this call have any insights to share, to add to what Anushri kind of spoke about. Please request you to kind of unmute yourself and share your thoughts here.
I'm also
Hello.
sharing my email ID in case anyone wants to reach out later.
Thanks, Anushri.
Yeah, so I just can I speak?
Please.
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate the point that Anushri made regarding the spreading a wider net. So I just wanted to share that we are hiring. We have Soul Sark, by the way. We develop curriculum for kids with learning issues. So we have around 40 open positions right now. And the casting the wide net, what I wanted to say was that right for many positions, we have screened close to 500 CVs and selected 3 people. So just wanted to put this out there that the struggle is real.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Great. Okay, if there are no further questions, then we'll kind of look to close the session. Anushri, anything else from your end? Anything you would like to add as closing remarks?
Thank you so much. Thanks to Sattva team, and to all of you also, I've shared my email ID in case you would like to have, know something more, or have any further questions. Happy to share.
Great. Okay, so thank you everyone. Thanks for joining the session. And I know there are a couple of documents that we said we'll collate and share it across. We'll do that positively. Give us just 1 week or 2 weeks and we'll reach out to you with that. But I think it's extremely important we hear your feedback so that we can design the sessions better and improve over time. So Ashwini here has shared a feedback form. Please share your feedback there and let's know what has gone well and what we can improve on. Thank you so much, everyone. Also, if there are resources which you feel will benefit the group largely and which are open for as a public good, right, for public consumption, please share it with us on Partner Network. And we are also open to putting this up on our platform as it comes out with due credit to your organization. And I'm sure then there'll be a lot of organizations who can benefit from it. So also looking forward to that. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. I hope I have been able to share some inputs that would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.